that rely on us going on our holidays, travelling for business, for their livelihoods. And the industry already saying it doesn't expect travel to get back to the sort of levels it was at before this crisis until 2024. So quite a long haul for them to deal with, and lots of implications for jobs. And they're calling on the governments now around the world for additional help to prop up their industry until they can get back to something that resembles normality. As you said, the industry trade body IATA meeting today in Geneva. They'll be discussing how they respond to this crisis. So let's talk about some of those issues with Julia Lo Bue-Said, who is the Chief Executive of the Advantage Travel Partnership. Julia, good morning to you. So many issues for the industry to contend with right now. What would you imagine is going to be top of the list for IATA in terms of what they need to do first to prop up an industry that's really, really struggling?
Yeah, good morning, Ben. Top of the list is undoubtedly going to be testing, a regime that enables us to travel through the ability of testing at airports without the need for quarantine. And actually what's really important is we need this harmonised globally because, you know, with the current restrictions, we may be able to fly through on a travel corridor as and when an international ban has been lifted, but there are so many restrictions in countries that we're arriving in that it will make travel exceptionally complicated and very difficult.
And we know that there needs to be maybe a more joined up approach because the different rules, depending where you go, are very different. Some require tests before you go, some when you arrive. Of course, a vaccine might help change things, but as far as consumers and passengers are concerned, it is so confusing and it's easier in many respects just to not bother.
Well, it's definitely not worth not bothering. So I'd urge everyone to bother as and when we can. But the fact is what we need, this is why it's really important that we need to have a harmonised approach so that it's really clear for travellers when they are leaving a point of exit of the UK, that they know exactly what the rules are when they're arriving locally, because it is exceptionally confusing, exceptionally difficult. And I'd really urge everyone to be using travel agents and travel management companies to help them with their trips, because they will have the most up-to-date advice and ensure that their travels can be stress-free.
Yeah, people may be watching this though and worried and thinking, look, if I've booked through a travel agent, then there's another layer of sort of middleman that I've got to go through to try and get my refund if the flight doesn't go ahead. What reassurance would you have for people trying to book a trip right now in terms of what are their rights to get their money back if they can't travel for whatever reason?
Really good question, Ben. And we saw when the pandemic hit in March, you know, given the scale of the enormity that we had to go through in terms of processing refunds, and it was pretty extraordinary. Hopefully we're never going to be in that position again. What a travel agent and that intermediary can offer is they can offer that extra support when you cannot get through to airlines. And look, we've all done it over the summer. We tried to get through to airlines. We've tried to get through to call centres that are exceptionally busy. But your reports this morning talk about local businesses and actually why it's really important to support them. The vast majority of travel agents are small businesses and desperate to help their customers, and have been pivotal in ensuring customers throughout the pandemic who had travel booked managed to get their refund without all the stress of trying to get through to a call centre that just doesn't answer. So it actually adds another layer of protection to help support travellers in as a stress-free possible way that they can.
Yeah, one that we'll keep a really close eye on. Julia, for now, thanks very much. Julia Lo Bue-Said there, who's the Chief Executive of the Advantage Travel Partnership. And look, it's really difficult for the industry to see,